welcome to Stillworks and Brewing. My name is Randy and this is the channel that's all about home distillation and brewing. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we are going to keg our pumpkin ale. Okay, some people asked me to show the kegging process. It's actually very simple. So first thing I want to talk about is, let me stop up. First things first. Hey, if you get a chance, hit that subscribe button down there. Hit that notification bell. Share us with your friends. If you like what you see, give us that thumbs up. And please leave a comment. I'll get back to you. Okay, now let's get started. Okay, so we're going to keg this beer. There's two ways of carbonation. There is what they call natural carbonization, where you use priming sugar, and what we will do is, because there's a little bit of yeast still in suspension in the beer, okay, so what we do right before we put it in the keg or bottle is you mix priming sugar, which is basically corn sugar, and you put it in, I like to boil it just a little bit and let it cool down, and you put it in there, and then you put the beer, and what happens is the yeast will eat this sugar and put off a little bit of alcohol and CO2 gas, which is, since it's sealed up, the CO2 gas has to be absorbed into the liquid, becomes carbonation. Okay, so that's number one way of carbonating. And I had number two way in a keg is I do what they call forced carbonate. So what that is, you just put the beer in, jack your regulators up on your CO2 tank to about 40 psi, and I like to roll it around and mix it all up, and it will absorb the gas. And then usually about after a day or so you test it and you get the carbonation that you would like, and then you drop the temperature back, the pressure back down to your serving pressure, which is 4 pounds, something like that. But this one I am going to, like I said before, I'm going to carbonate in the keg. Now, one important thing you got to do is you have to leave it at room temperature. So once I put the beer in and put the priming sugar in and all that stuff, I'll put the lid on it and I'll put it in the fermentation room for 2 weeks. Okay, and then it will be carbonated. Okay, so first things first, what we got to do, I already loosened the fittings. You got two fittings. You got an in and an out. Okay, the in is where you put your CO2 gas in, and the out, of course, is your standpipe, and that is where it brings the beer out to your tap line. Okay, so I put a little bit of citric acid in here and water, washed it all out. So what I want to do next is I want to sanitize everything. So I'll put some Star San in here, clean everything up, and we'll get ready to get started. I got a little bit of water here warming up to put my priming sugar in. So let me get that stuff started and we'll be right back. Okay, so we got Star San put through everything. Now these little valves, this is the gas in valve, and you can really tell that, but see if you see all the notches around, and it's got it's notches around here, and then it's got a little groove here. That's always your gas in. So all you gotta do is the valve, can you see it? The valve goes in like that, and the gas in always does have a little short standpipe, okay? And then on the keg, it says in on this one. Sometimes they just say in on one side, sometimes they say out on one side. So you always do know the gas by them little notches around there. Okay. Okay, then this is the standpipe. The bend of it goes towards the middle of the keg because there's an indentation down there that you use. So you just look at it. You put that in the indent, and then this valve is the same way. All right, so we just put that on this side. And then what we'll do is tighten them up. And you don't have to go crazy with the tight one. Just good and tight. Like that. Like that. That's all you need. Okay, so let's go over to our priming sugar. This is how much? 5 ounces of priming sugar, 5.3 ounces of priming sugar, basically corn sugar. So all we want to do is dissolve this in there. And you can tell when it's completely dissolved because it will go clear. Okay? Just make sure you stir it. Okay. We'll let that warm up a little bit more. Alright, so our next step is, remember we used the our fermenter hangs on the wall. It's a conical fermenter. So what we got to do is we got to get ready to dump the trudge off the bottom, and then we will siphon the beer over. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to shut that off and start letting that cool down, okay? Dump the trudge off, so what I do is close this valve. We're going to take this, the ball off the bottom, and that's where all the sediment and all the dead yeast is. So I'll just set this over here for now. Okay, so what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to just open this up and drain a little bit into that pan. That's all the pumpkin. Whoop, I'm going to take the airlock out. Just do it real slow. Can you see it? I'm going to dump all that off the bottom. I ain't going to tell you what that looks like. Okay, so now we're down to good beer. Our beer is ready. Let's put the draining tube on the bottom of the fermenter. I get it started. There we go. And then what we want to do is, okay, let me back up a little bit. I put my priming sugar in the bottom. And what we're going to do is we're just going to start draining the beer into the keg. And you will get a little bit of trudge. That's normal. It will not hurt. It will come out. Almost done. Okay, so we're almost done. So we dumped all our beer in our keg here. Of course, before that, everything was put star sand through everything. The only thing we got left to really do is put the lid on it. I want to make sure it's all star sanded up very good. Right, star sand is your friend. And then all of this the way this goes in is you go in on one side, give it a turn, kind of line it up, and snap it down. Okay? Now there's one important thing, and it's actually very important, and I'm going to show you what I do, and it seems to work out really well. Let me get the camera set up. Okay, one very important thing that I do is I lay it on the table on its side, and now all the liquid's up. It's covering the top. You can look around here to see if you got any seeps, because sometimes if you don't put this cap perfectly on the center, it will leak, and we don't want that because of two different things. Because it won't. We need the CO2 trapped in there, you know, so it carbonates. Plus, when I hook up my CO2 line to the keg, when I put in the kegerator, we don't want no leaks either. So I can see there's no leaks. You can take a paper towel or something, you know, make sure it's dry. You make sure it's dry, and there is no leaks. You will see it. If it's a leak, it will be seeping out. And then all you got to do is take it off, reposition it, tighten it, and put it back on. Okay, so that's kegging our pumpkin ale. I told you it was very easy. It's a sure lot easier than all the bottles, which sometimes I like to bottle beer, but my kegs are all empty. This won't last long. It's that time of year. You know, in the fall, there is nothing like a good pumpkin ale. Okay? So, I hope you got something out of that. It's sure a lot of fun, and we'll come back at a future date when it's all done, and we'll give her a taste, okay? So the last thing I got to say is, hey, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time here on Stillworks and Brewing.